What is up, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls? It's your boy Goblin, and today we're coming in with a hoot and a holler, another classic banger. I hope you guys enjoy this one. Drop a like if you do, and before we say anything further, I want to tell you guys that the Gobcast Episode 0 comes out this Monday, November 20th on this channel. Keep an eye out for it. I'm really excited to share it with you guys. This has been a long time in the making, and I hope you guys love it as much as I do. Also, head over to Goblin420.com and use code Black Friday for 30% off your order. This is the biggest discount we've ever done. I'm not playing around, okay? I'm not playing around, ladies and gentlemen. This is the real deal. Head over to Goblin420.com, use code Black Friday, any order, any size, 30% off. We ship very fast. Head over there if you want to get it in time for Christmas. And without further ado, let's dive into the video. Now, today's video took place at an interesting period of my life. This took place right after I had dropped out of high school, but before rehab and before the probation stuff. I was still going through court, and I knew that I was about to get on probation, so I was essentially just doing all the drugs. I was like, yo, gotta get it out of the system, baby. Like, we gotta really get it in here. So I was smoking all the weed, I was taking all the acid, we were doing anything that was handed to us. Honest to God, at this point in my life, I'm lucky that meth wasn't offered because I probably would have smoked that shit. I'm just being real. So this was a very chaotic point in my life. On this particular day, I had gone over to my buddy Cody's house. Many of you guys know him. You know, I'm sure you guys know who he is. He's been in a million of my videos at this point. Cody was a very good friend of mine at this point, and his brother was a very good plug of mine. You see, we would always go over there and we would grab weed off his brother because his brother had the good shit. No one else that we knew in our age bracket had the shit that he had. So we would go over there and grab this weed because it was just different. It was different. Like, by nowadays standards, it was some average ass weed. But back then, anything purple was absolutely spectacular. Anything with a speck of color, amazing. Could not believe it. And Cody's brother consistently had that kind of weed, and he had a lot of it. I would go over there, and very often he would just have giant bags of good ass weed sitting out, and it would be so exciting for my young self. I would be thrilled by it because I go over to my other friends' houses and my other plugs' houses, and they have some mid on the table. You know, I'm re-upping on some OG. You know, for the 100th time, they're telling me it's OG Kush, and I know damn well they have no idea what it is. You know, it's not OG. Who knows what it is? It was either OG or some sour diesel, and that was the hype. Green crack was also in. You know, that was another one they throw around. But Cody's brother really had the green crack, and it was smoking. So I'd go over there all the fucking time, and also because Cody was my friend. So on this fateful day, I had to hit up Cody, and I was like, yo, what's the play today? I'm trying to get fucked up. I was living with my dad primarily at this point. My dad's house was kind of an on and off place to get zooted, you know? But at this time, it was not a great place to be. Me and my dad were not on good terms, so I was like, yo, I'm out the jam. I'm going to Cody's every fucking day. So I bust my little Uber, and I get on over to Cody's house, and I use the Uber strategy. I'm sure many of you who have watched my videos are very familiar with my old Uber strategy, but I would just continuously sign up for new accounts using TextNow and fake number texting apps to get the $20 discount, because for some reason Uber thought it was smart to have no minimum purchase and no payment method required to use that. So you could go crazy, make an account, and if the ride was under $20, you were gone. And you could tip with that money too, by the way. It would also cover the tip. This was the early days of Uber, dude. This was 2016. Uber was still a new concept. Now I get over to Cody's house, and immediately, I mean business, dude. We're smoking up. His brother's not home yet, so we have to post up, wait a little bit. Luckily, I brought some weed. Cody had some weed, so we were locked in. Now, we're smoking up, we roll a couple blunts, we vibe out, and eventually his brother gets back. And his brother gets back with his homie, who we're going to refer to as Fudge. Fudge is someone who I'm sure I've talked about in some of my past videos, probably quite a few of them, but Fudge was like the plug's plug. You know, nowadays, from what I'm aware of, I mean, I think he's just living a normal life. Last I heard about him, and granted it was a while, I mean, I think he's just chilling. You know, I think he's just he's just normal now. Like he doesn't sell drugs, he's just a chill guy, which good for him. I mean, that's chill. You can't sell drugs forever, so that's good. Make a little money, retire. But I'm getting off topic here. So either way, Cody's brother and Fudge, they pull up, they come in the garage. I dap them up, say what's up. And Fudge is the kind of guy who, whenever he came around, you knew it wasn't just to sash. Like, he wasn't just coming to hit the blunt and, like, drink some beer. Fudge was coming because this was a transaction, because they were there to do business. So he walks in, and they kind of sit down, and they're chilling out a little bit, and they kick us out of the garage. And that's how I know shit's serious. I'm like, oh, shit, like, they're fucking booting us out, So we go inside and we're chilling in Cody's room and we're vibing back there. We're chilling out. There's nothing to really do in Cody's room, honestly. There wasn't anything set up in there, so we were just kind of like chilling, just standing there. We went NPC mode, like in Detroit Become Human, like when they just like turn off. That was us. We just turned off for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then we came back once we got retrieved. Cody's brother came back in. He was like, "Yo, you guys can come back out." And that's when the fun really began, ladies and gentlemen. You see, once we were reactivated, we come back outside. There's a box sitting on this table, and Fudge is gone. It's just Cody's brother, Cody, and myself. And we're sitting in the garage, and his brother is like, yo, like, I need you guys to help me. I don't remember exactly how he put it, but he said something along the lines of, like, I'll get you guys high as fuck, So instantly, weed is being offered. I'm poor. At this point, I worked at a grocery store, and it was horrible. So I was down. I was like, bet, dude, lock me the fuck in. I was walking to work at the grocery store to make like $200 every 2 weeks. It was the worst shit ever. I was low on money, low on weed. I was like, bet, I will do whatever it takes. Like, if you give me a Glock, I'll go shoot the neighbor. Like, whatever it takes, bro, for a bag. Now, he's got his little scale set up on the table next to the box, so I already knew what was going on here. This was nothing new. I mean, this was not even the most weed that he'd ever pulled out around us. This was just a particularly memorable night because we got super fried. But either way, he just starts busting out nugs. I mean, he had a solo cup on the scale, and then he gave us a second scale and a second solo cup, and we were just grabbing nugs out of the shit, and we were bagging up ounces. And he was like, yeah, like, I got to make sure all this shit is right. And looking back at it, I don't know why he did this, because Fudge was like someone he could definitely trust. These bags, like, you could look at him and tell, like, yeah, it looks right. I think it was probably because he was coked up, and he would get like kind of paranoid when he would get coked up. He'd start tweaking about stupid shit. So like, I get, maybe he was just geeked and he's like, yo, I gotta weigh every pound in this box down to the gram and separate it and fucking make sure it's right, Like this, it was so extra for no reason, bro. So we would sit there all the time, like not all the time, but this was like a fairly common thing where we would just help him fucking scale out pounds and shit. But this particular batch was some fire, dude. Holy fuck. This was some amazing shit. I don't remember what the strain even was, not because I forgot it, but because I don't think I even fucking asked. Like, I saw the weed, and I was just like, yeah, dude, I want to smoke that. I didn't give a shit. I looked at, dude, the first nug I got in my hand, I was like, yeah, hey, I'm going to do whatever he needs me to do tonight. All right, we got to get this done. So we're solo cupping it up. We're scaling it out. And we're separating this into ounce bags. And then after we did a couple ounces, he was like, yo, take like one of the gallon bags. He's like, can you do a QP? So we do the QP, we scale that out. Then we're back to doing ounces, and we're just separating by the ounce. And then he's taking the ounces and bagging up a bunch of eighths. Like, this motherfucker really sold weed. Like, a lot of my friends that sold weed when I was younger, they just kind of like, oh yeah, they'd buy a QP and they'd flip it. Maybe they'd throw in on a pound, maybe have a pound. This motherfucker really had motion, dude. Now, granted, hey, he's retired from the game now. He's retired now, but he had some motion going on. Okay, at least as far as I'm aware, he's retired. I don't know. Maybe he's not. I don't know. I haven't talked to him in a little bit, but either way. So we're just bagging up this fucking weed, dude. Like, we're fucking ounce bagging through the cup. And we get through like probably 2 pounds of it. And it had been a little bit of time. Scaling out a pound, by the ounce, like, it's not a super fast process. You can't rush it. You don't want to be dropping the nugs. You want to keep it straight. You want to weigh it out right. And also, we were too busy admiring this weed. We were like pulling out all the big nugs. Like, look at this one, dude. This shit is fire. And after we got through the first couple pounds, we rolled up a blunt. And we rolled a fucking doink. I remember we rolled what we like to call a gorilla finger. We call them either gorilla fingers or gorilla dicks. It was the nickname that we came up with right there in that garage. And what we would do is we would take a wrap, like a Swisher or a White Owl, just a piece of shit, cheap wrap, and we double wide it. So instead of making it an extendo, we'd put them side by side and roll a fucking doink. It was like a struggle backwood, pretty much. But we didn't like to call them that. That was a shot at our egos, so Gorilla Finger would do. So we rolled 2 Gorilla Fingers of this shit. Cody's brother was like, yeah, just grab some out. Go for it. So we rolled 2 fucking Gorilla Fingers of this shit. Oh my God. We sparked the first one, and I still to this day remember how dizzy I got. I felt I got lightheaded like halfway through the first blunt. And we're sitting there, and I was just like, dude, like, I have the spins right now. And that was one of the first times that I had really gotten the spins just off weed. Every other time I feel like I had either gotten no sleep or I've been crossfaded or something, but like, this is one of the first times that I really almost greened out off a blunt. Like, this was crazy. And I have gotten sick off hitting some shit before, but like, this was really serious. Like, I was fighting for my fucking right, dude. I was fighting for my American right to not vomit, dude. I was going for it. But I didn't tap out a roto. I kept going because my younger self was a demon. Nowadays, if I feel like if I even have the notion of puking, I'm just going to go to the bathroom and let it happen. But back then, no, we were holding that shit in. We were fighting it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was not letting that vomit come out. But I remember at the same time, despite feeling so dizzy, I was also fucking baked. I just felt this warmth come over my face, almost like there was a heater blowing very lightly on me. And I just felt so good. I was laughing, I was giggling, I was in a great mood, and I was ready to fucking bag up some more weed. I was like, yo, this is the greatest shit ever. This is amazing. So we're bagging up. And we're smoking these Gorilla Fingers, and the dizzy feeling, it kind of subsided a little bit. After the initial rush of like, holy fuck, this weed's hitting, I feel dizzy, I settled down and I felt a lot better. So I helped bag it up, and we didn't go through this whole 10-pound box, but this box definitely had 10 pounds. He made it clear. He was like, man, he kept saying, it was funny, dude. This is how I know he was probably Koto. He was like, who the fuck else got weed like this? Like, he kept asking, he was like, who got 10 pounds of this type of shit? And we were like, we were his yes men. We were like, nobody. So we're just gassing him up. We're packing the gas up. We're just gassing up all around. We're having a good time. And as our hoot and hollers continue, eventually he's like, yeah, that's probably enough for now. Like, we can cut it out. I'd guesstimate, because we were like halfway through one of the bags. So I'd guesstimate we did like probably 3.5 pounds, which was pretty good. I was proud of myself. I was like, wow, I'm involved. I'm involved in the trap. I did my volunteer work. Like, this is fire. This is community service, right? This is what it's all about, And after we finished up, he was like, yo, I got something for y'all. And he gave us each 2 8 bags. I couldn't believe it, dude. We each got a free quarter ounce. Back then, you got to understand, that was serious, bro. Like, a free quarter, I was hitting up all the homies and being like, yo, I got a fucking quarter on me. Like, what are we doing? Like, where's the sesh at, bro? Like, I got enough. All of us can smoke. I got a blunt for every man type shit, because we were rolling 0.5s up back then. Like, the Gorilla Fingers were a rare occasion, a celebration, if you will. So after he handed us our quarter ounces, we were like, damn, bro, like, this is the life. We're done with work. We're off now. But Cody's ass was so slumped from smoking this fucking weed that he just like passed out. This guy's sitting in the chair playing PlayStation, and he just slumps. Like playing 2K and all, just slumps out. So I'm like, damn, Cody's sleep, his brother's like just kind of chilling. I'm a skedaddle. So I got up out of there. I was like, yo, the Rager is not done yet, ladies and gentlemen. I took my little quarter ounce of some Pacquiao, and I went over to Michael's house. And once I got over to Michael's house is where things really evolved, because then it went from like, oh, I'm just smoking some weed and packing it up, to like, oh, Michael's been on acid all day and now he wants to candy flip. Like, I might as well take a little Molly and go along for the ride. He didn't have any tabs left, but he did fucking have some Molly. And I tapped in on that shit, dude. So I spent the rest of my evening jaw-locked sweating in Michael's bedroom, no homo. Like, not in a sus way, in like a homie MDMA way. And it wasn't just two dudes there. If it's an odd number of guys, it's not, it's not questionable. And there was 3 of us in the room, so it's not questionable. You guys can't ask anything. Now, what was going on before I got there when 2 dudes were in the room, I can't comment on that. But as of the time that I arrived, we good. So I popped a little cap that Michael had passed to me, and I'm sitting there, and this shit was fire. I didn't ask any questions. I didn't ask, like, oh, how much was in this? I didn't ask shit. Now, this was also one of my final times rolling before I got put on probation and everything kind of hit the fan. This was, as I said earlier, right before all my drug testing, all my rehab stuff, and this was at a time when I was going hard. I was really doing anything handed to me. Literally a couple weeks after this happened is when I actually got sentenced to probation and was about to get drug tested until I went to rehab, which I'm sure many of you viewers watching this channel, you know the rehab story, and if not, you should go watch it. Drop a like on this video if you enjoyed. Go watch the rehab videos, but not before you use code Black Friday at Goblin420.com for 30% off your order. Listen, I'm barely making money with this discount. All right, just get in there and get some merch. Merry Christmas, happy holidays. Thank you for watching. Doses.